We wanted to put a dedicated Ethernet line out into the garage from our motor. We've decided this is where we put in our hot water recirculation pump. We are going to put a network jack right here. I put a 9/16 bit on it, and that's much larger than the cable we're dealing with. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Yes, you can. We want to be a foot back from water there, so we're going to run right behind this conduit here, and we've got to drill into the header. So now I'm going to bend this thing right down in. So now I've got the fish tape through the hole. We're going to put a hole in for our network box, be about a foot over. Here's 12 inches. We know there's a stud here on this side. We want to be on this side of the stud. And right now our fish rod is running hopefully about down here. Once I punch through this, I'm going to stop. A lot of times when people drill through a wall, they'll drill through the drywall and they'll keep going, and then you'll tear up all the insulation inside. And that's it. We've got a nice clean hole popped into the wall. Now I'm going to see if we get lucky. And this isn't always easy with a small hole. I'm going to try to find that fish rod. And I feel it. It's actually right here. And there's the fish rod right there. I'm going to see if I can bend it and get it to pull through the hole. There we go. So there's the fish rod. Alrighty, we're back up in the attic, and what we're doing is just setting up the network cable to make sure it doesn't wrap around anything. Tape this on like this. I'm not going to go crazy. All right, we're back. We've got the wire through the hole, and we pulled a little bit of extra. We've got so much extra wire that it wasn't a problem, and we'll use this for other processes as well. All right, I'm at the workbench. You can't really see my face right now, but that's okay. Well, this is one of the 4-foot fish rods we used. We have 3 5-footers and 2 4-footers. In this house, we find that these 4-foot rods generally work the best. They come up to about here. On the end, this is a removable rounded end. It's got a hole in it so you can put string on it and fish stuff through. They're really great. At the other end is a set of threads so you can hook multiple rods together. We generally work with an 8-foot rod, and they're very flexible and they bend. You can tape your network cable to the rod in a number of different fashions. Some people put a couple inches of line out and they just run black tape all the way up through. I like to use blue tape when I can. In some cases where I don't want things to come apart, I'll definitely use the electrical tape. We've been very successful just what we just did now. We just taped here. We knew we would have a minimum of interruptions. Just make sure that when you run the tape along your network cable that you cover up the end so that you have a nice smooth surface. Otherwise, this network cable will snag everything. One of the most successful things that we've been able to do, because Mary and I have done this long enough now where we work well together, is we can actually butt up the network tape to the fish rod, and then we tape it in this fashion. And what we do is we run a couple like a length and a half of tape up the cable and a length and a half of tape down the rod, and then I'll bend it over so we can take it off easy. And what happens is this is strong, it stays together, but it flexes, so we can take this and go around corners. This is what we did last night when we brought the network cable through the router box, the network box in the laundry room, and it really worked out well. We have about 18 inches of cable already sticking through the wall, but the problem is it's a little awkward to try to film hooking up a network jack over there by the wall. So we're just going to take this piece and we're just going to put this on here, and actually we'll end up making a piece of network cable out of this. But first off, I like to use Ideal tools, and what I have first is the Ideal feed through crimper, and that's what this tool is here. The other thing we have is an Ideal cutter. This is a sheath cutter for cable. Next, we have a couple different, we've got these FT45. These are feed through network jacks that have a little crimp connector on the end. And then you have your normal Ideal feed through jack. These are RJ45s, and we're going to use one of these right now. When we first started doing these, we were very intimidated, but of course we went out to YouTube and got educated a little bit. And the reason why we keep this Ideal package is on the back, it shows, Mary, can you see that okay? it shows the different wiring conventions. So we use the T568B method here, and I've got it circled in magic marker, and that's what we're going to set up today. And I'll explain it to you. You can rewind the video and take a look. First, I'm going to start here. I'm going to take this cutter, and I'm going to throw it in. I'm going to get a couple inches of slack out on the side. I'm going to gently pinch the cutter here. It's got a little cutting knife, and what it does is it cuts the blue insulation without cutting the network wires inside. So I'm just slowly working it through, and this is what we have left. Now this is a very important step, and some people get in a rush and they get themselves all screwed up. Bend your twisted pairs away from the center. Then I take a pair of snippers and I closely, without damaging the wires, I cut the pulling core out of the cable, and I'll cut the little string. That string is a stripping string. You can use that string to strip down the insulation, but I like to use the little cutter. It's more precise. Now that we have this, most people try to go and just separate these things and try to get them in lined up in a group of 8 so that they can try to get this thing passed through the jack and into the crimper. Stop. This is what you need to do. I learned this from a guy. Take a couple extra minutes and always gently unwind the twisted pairs so that you end up with 4 pairs of straight wires. And that'll make this whole process much easier. You hold the end with your fingers. So now the convention tells us, and again, it's going to be a little tough for you guys to see. They're showing it as if the jack is upside down, like this. And the first wire is going to be an orange-white wire. So now what I've got is, again, I'm working with the wires, bending them a little bit, just trying to get them to behave a little bit. Then I'm going to take my crimp connectors, and I'm going to make a straight cut. Inside the jack, there are 8 holes, and the wires get passed through 8 holes. They'll pop out the front of it, and you don't have to worry about that. The crimper will take care of that. So here we go. We're going to try to put this in here so we can catch it perfect. And there we go. So once we know that we've got that all set up, we gently pass the cable and get the jacket up behind the edge here. So now I'm going to gather these up together. I'm going to take this crimper, unhook the lock. I'm going to pass this data cable through. And it goes all the way in like you're hooking it into a data connection. And what's going to happen is when we cut on this, this knife is going to come up and it's going to slice off those cables right flush with the end, and the crimper is going to crimp the wires to the contactor, and we'll be good to go. And I'm pushing it on the wire. I'm going to cut, crimp. I'm going to hold it for a couple seconds. And that is a perfectly done network connector. You throw away your wires and you're good to go. We've got a network cable all set up. We've got about 18 inches of slack. We always put extra slack in the cable. And the way this is going to work is we bought one of these double jacks. We're not going to use the other jack for now. We'll just use the upper or the lower, and we just hook it into here and hook it into that Ethernet cable we just made, and that's it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this little low voltage box. We just went down to Ace Hardware and picked up some, and we're going to trace it out. So the way this is set up, you may see the trace line on the wall. I set it up, and then I took the level and I leveled it vertically as to where I wanted it. I decided to move it over just a little bit down from where it was located. You can put it wherever you want. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my hole saw and be careful not to cut into the cable or the insulation. We've got our bag set up, and we'll just pop this hole in. If anything, just be careful not to cut beyond the lines. You can always trim it with a utility knife, but it's hard to make it smaller if you cut the hole too big. There, perfect. Double check the level. I can adjust it just a little bit. Now I've got to get a screwdriver, and we'll drive that home. Again, when you're working with these holes like this, you just take your time and try to get everything as level as you can when you start, It just makes life a whole lot better on the other end. You can always take this out and put a double box. You can always do different things. And this is low voltage only. And they just made the real nice for cable connections, network cable, that sort of thing. So now we're going to take this guy. And which would you like, Mary? Would you like the bottom or the top?
Top, please.
All right, we're going to hook into top. Got it plugged in there, and we always give ourselves a little extra cable. And we'll just put that in the wall. And that's what she's going to look like right there. I'm just going to get the screws and I'll screw that in. We've already tested the connection. We have a good internet connection from the modem. So what we have to do is just test the connection now, once we get everything put together. And then we will finally have a wired internet connection in the garage, which is awesome. Okay, so we're back. You can see we got the internet up. Of course, it happens to be our YouTube channel. So that's our home page. We've got the internet all wired up and ready to go out here because we wanted wired internet connection for the garage, and we got it. We can do wireless, but it's more reliable and quicker for us to have a wired connection out here. That's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.